So Gambia has been in the news recently. Literally everywhere you turn, someone is saying something.
The criminal element in Gambia is sending Black Americans a message. And that message is, you are not wanted here. That's the message. The robberies, the phone snatching, the hassles in regards to land, the double talk, all of that is really just a symptom of a larger issue, which is that Black Americans are not particularly welcome in the Gambia.
Check out this young lady here. She's young, she has a lot of future ahead, she has a whole lot of life ahead of her, but she's now dead. According to the news sources, that this girl was killed or stabbed, with a knife when thieves were just trying to rob the place where she was working. As you can also see here, they say the guys that stabbed her is from Senegal. But here, it doesn't matter whether the person who stabbed her is from Gambia or Senegal or Guinea-Bissau. The question that we should all ask ourselves, the crime rates in the Gambia is going high.
Those who ignore this criminal element do so at their own peril, because what's happening is this criminal element is picking off diasporans one by one.
Be it a foreigner who moved there and was scammed, be it a woman who moved there for love and was scammed.
But if we meet again, we're gonna beat you, we're gonna kill you. We Gambian people, we're so strong.
There's so much going on in the Gambia. So I said, you know what, let's bring it here and let's talk about it.
You're so talkative, you talk a lot.
Hi, my name is Janita Maya. Welcome to my YouTube channel, A Moment with Janita Maya. Let's watch this clip and get right into it.
Hi, from the Gambia. I'm not expecting any sympathy, don't think that. But I got married. I should have known when I had to buy my own wedding ring. I'm all of a shake. I don't know why I've let it happen, but I went to his village to meet his family, and he had a wife and 3 children, and 2 of the children were under 2. It's made me feel sick. I come back to my friend's apartment. I've got fuck all. All I've got is a bird's eye chicken pie, a tin of cream soda and a bit of cheese and some bread, but it's going to have to last me. I phoned my ex-husband to ask him to send me some money. He said he's going to see, or a friend's going to do a GoFundMe page. I don't know why I let it happen, but hopefully I'm going to get out of this situation. I know you're probably going to be saying it's your own fault, and it was my own fault, but we all live and learn.
So you've seen the clip, I first of all, I feel so sorry for her. Like, my heart literally breaks for her because she's saying, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this, in her British accent. And, she's just hoping for the best. Someone has created a GoFundMe for her, hoping that they can get some money to get her back to wherever she's coming from. She didn't say where she's coming from. She just said, hello from the Gambia. Someone said that should have been the red flag. Let's talk about a few red flags that I feel like she missed, and I feel like most women or most foreign women missed to see in their pursuit of love with African men on the continent. Okay, the first red flag was paying for her own ring.
Why doesn't anyone talk about these very successful wives who buy their own rings, wedding rings, who pay 50% for even their own weddings? Well, you thought you were being a nice woman, understanding, helpful, but this is how you trained your man to rely on you, to expect 50% from you. If you've been married for even 7, 8, 9 years, please, today, go and ask your man to pay you back. That's the first step. A man only respects what he's truly, truly invested in and worked hard for. You think you made it easy, but you made him easy to build using you. Go and ask for your money in a very nice, soft way. Let him pay you back for that.
Let me tell you something. Any woman who pays for her own ring or pays for her own ceremony to get married it just won't work out. Like, show me a successful marriage where the woman paid for her ring or her ceremony. I mean, they may be there. I'm not saying they're not there, but I'm just saying that's a first red flag, because the least a man can do is buy you your ring, your proposal ring. I mean, he could even just get something made out of plastic and give it to you. So the first red flag that should have just told her, you know what, stop, was when she paid for her ring. The next red flag is that when she went to the village to see this man had a wife and 3 children. Now, where is this going? I don't know what this man told her when he was making her fall in love with her. I don't even know how they got to a proposal, but was she going to be a second wife? Was that what was discussed? Like, that should have been a red flag in itself. That's red flag number 2. The third red flag is Gambia. Now, recently on King Anda, O'Shea was also talking about the Gambia and why he wouldn't recommend it for most foreigners. Watch this clip from him.
If you're telling me you want to move to the continent of Africa and you tell me that your choice is Gambia, I'm going to tell you that you shouldn't go there. I'm not hating on Gambia. I'm not hating on Gambian. But if you mean to tell me you want to move to Gambia over Kenya or even over another country that might offer you a larger skill set, a larger market, even Uganda, I feel is a better opportunity than that. That's probably the wrong place that you can go to. You probably should consider a country that you feel is more forward thinking. Maybe you might want to try Ghana, even South Africa, but Gambia, I would say no. I would definitely tell you, if you have that same amount of money and same amount of drive and you want to meet some more people, you should, number 1, go to Kenya. I'm not in Kenya, I'm in Uganda, I love Uganda, but you should be probably going to Kenya, like nonstop. You probably should be going to Gambia, all right? You probably shouldn't look there because the market is probably too small. You're probably not going to be able to get what you're looking for. You're probably going to want something that reminds you of home. Kenya is probably where to go, or a place like that.
So as you can see, he has given you some of the reasons as to why you don't need to go to the Gambia. And there's so many other African countries that are so much better off than Gambia itself. Now, I do not want to hate on another African country, but I need to be realistic with you guys. Some of you come from a first world country expecting first world country experiences, and then you land in a country like Gambia and the experience is so different. From the videos that I've seen, Gambia looks to be like a poor country, and people have said it. They've said it's a poor country. That's very unfortunate, and there's so many factors and reasons, contributing to that.
In terms of nature, the Gambia has it all. Palm trees, jungle, beaches, and tons of wildlife. The natural beauty is the best thing about the country so far. Amazingly, the Gambia is so small that we've already covered half the country in 2 hours. And if I'm being honest, it's not exactly my favorite place in the world.
And I know that most of the people who go to Gambia go there because apparently the land is cheap, but that's where they get you. The land is cheap, but then that's probably also a land scam itself. You go there thinking, oh, I may be able to buy myself a few acres of land, and then your money is stolen from you, or you never get the land itself, but because you had hopes, and dreams of what Gambia could be, so you ended up going to Gambia. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this, but I want to narrow down to what I am here for today, and that is young African men dating older women. So there's this clip that I want you guys to watch, and then I'm just going to come back.
Thousands of women travel abroad every year looking for sun, sea and romance.
I thought he was one of the most beautiful men I'd ever seen in my life. Charismatic, he was charming.
I was attracted to his humour and his friendliness, but I was still very cautious that it's just a holiday romance.
Some of the men they meet spark instant attraction.
He was absolutely devastatingly handsome, I must admit.
But sometimes holiday relationships don't last.
I felt neglected, I felt suspicious that he's cheating.
And the man of your dreams can become your worst nightmare.
I got an email from this woman telling me that they were married.
These women have been left broken-hearted by accusations of bigamy.
He had married a new wife. I could not believe it.
And have to fight for justice against the man they thought they knew.
He needs to be in prison.
So you've watched the clip and you can see that most times, I feel like if you are an older woman, you need to be very skeptical of these young, fine-looking African men who lure you in the name of love, who who tell you that, oh, you're the most beautiful, who tell you everything that you want to hear, but in actual sense, they are prepping you to be their sugar mama. Someone calls me a sugar mama. A friend, a girl.
There is a YouTuber who was an African American that was living in Gambia. Her name was Art Kathy. She noticed that a lot of black women, when they come to the Gambia, they will lower their standards for African guys while requiring higher things from American guys. And she also shows some footage of a young man that was a muscular guy that was living pretty bad, and sisters was really on him. Let's check it out.
Something I saw that was really ironic to me, sis. Go back to that video where I interviewed like the 22-year-old beach guy out there, and I saw the comments. Just look at those comments. Some of the sisters were saying, I could rock with it, I could work with him. I mean, y'all were giving him a lot of praise, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have or should have. I was just really impressed by how you guys were willing to give this brother a shot, and he showed you his living quarters. Like, this where you bring the ladies? This where you bring your girlfriend?
Yeah, maybe girlfriend, yes.
Okay, ladies, he telling y'all where y'all gonna be hanging out.
African house.
African house.
Yeah.
So you take a lady back here on a date?
No lady on the date.
How do you take a lady on a date here? Where would you take her?
Like what?
Where would you take her? Where would you go?
No, just when I bring lady, we can have a chatting,
You can chat? Okay.
Yeah, only that,
You gonna chat in here? You gonna bring her back here and chat?
Yeah, chat, sometimes.
Okay, I don't see nothing wrong with it. I'm just asking questions. He showed you that he was living and sleeping in a tent outside, cooking on the rocks in the wood. And I had a sister say, I can fix it up and make it nice. And I was like, wow. But let that have been a brother in the States. If a brother in the States ain't even got a car, the sister's not even checking for him, no education, what? I know a lot of sisters can be very, very particular and have these expectations of black men, but when they come to Africa, or when they came to that video, I'm gonna just talk about the video.
But they're prepping you to be a sugar mama. They want you to fund their lifestyle. They want you to be able to send them money. You are an asset. You are a cash cow, and that's what they're looking for. And you think it's all about love, but in actual sense, it's never about love. It's just a means to an end. Times are tough. Unemployment is really high in the country that they're in, and the only way out is to find themselves a sugar mama. I mean, girls have sugar daddies all the time, so the men also figure, why not have a sugar mama too? I mean, what's the harm in doing that? And that's where you need to be cautious as a woman, a foreigner, or anyone moving to an African country looking for love. There's a catch. You're not just going to find the love. You're going to find the love plus his family, plus his responsibilities, and then you will end up being trapped there, because some of them get there, get married, but then the journey to get divorced is a very long journey. And then you spend all this money trying to get divorced, yet in the first instance, you would have avoided that altogether if you just stayed away from this man or saw the red flags as they are. He has a wife, red flag. He has kids, red flag. Makes you pay for your ring, red flag. He wants a green card, red flag. You're his only thing. That's a red flag. Like, you just have to be very, they call it love literate. You have to be very cautious. You have to be very alert, because people in this world will find out to take advantage of you and what you do. So you really have to be careful. There's also another clip that I saw right here.
We've had a woman that she contacted us, and she is 59. She said she came to the Gambia at 59 years of age, and she met a young man in the Gambia. She's 59 and he was 29. So that's 30 years difference.
Yes.
And she said she didn't want a relationship with this guy, and she was friends with him. She came on a holiday. He took her around because he drove a yellow taxi. So he took her around, and she felt very protected from him. He showed her the marketplaces, and he showed her the restaurants and bars, and he was great company for her because she came on her own. She'd heard about the Gambia from lots of people, came on her own and met this guy. Now she says that she went back to the UK. From the UK, she went back to the UK, and she said that he continued to talk to her all the way through while she was in the UK. Every day phone calls, every day online, every day lovey-dovey, every day texting.
And obviously she was enjoying every bit of this.
She was smitten. And she was 59, and she said that her husband passed away 10 years before. So she was 49 when her husband passed away.
And
her children
10 years on her own, yes.
Yes. Her children had grown, and she hadn't, you're right, she hadn't been in a relationship for 10 years.
Yes.
So she was completely blown away and flattered. She said the guy said the right things. He knew what to say.
He knew how to make her feel like she was a young girl again.
He did.
Yes.
And he persuaded her to come back to the Gambia and spend some time. After a year she'd been talking to him. So she came back to the Gambia, and he persuaded her. They rented a house. He said, you don't need to stay in a hotel. Rent somewhere, then we can cook and clean and stay together without any issues. So she rented a house, and she said this guy treated her like a queen. A queen. He cooked.
Who doesn't want to be treated like a queen?
At 59, do you think you want to be treated like a queen?
Of course I do.
Of course you do.
Yes.
So he cooked for her, he cleaned for her, he did everything for her, she said, and it was just absolutely wonderful.
Wonderful. She was in her element.
Completely in her element. So then she said that she went back to the UK, and it continued. The phone calls,
all the
messages, lovey-dovey. And he said to her that he thinks they should get married. So she had known him now for a year and 6 months, I think she said.
1 and a half, yes.
Yeah, a year and 6 months she'd known him for.
Definitely.
So a year and 6 months he persuaded her, let's get married. And she said, oh, I'm still working, I can't come back to the Gambia for another 6 months. He persuaded her to get married by proxy.
Online?
Over the phone, online. So he said, you don't have to be here, but we can just do the marriage, do the ceremony. So I'm not going to go into the intricacies of that, but it happened. And they got married without her being there.
It's a new one.
So once they got married, she felt happy, he was happy, but then he started saying to her, you know, we need to rent a home so that when you come, it's going to be easier for you.
Somewhere
and then
to
he
live.
started saying to her that he has no money, he's struggling, and she's his wife, and she needs to help provide for him. Then he told her that his sister has got 3 children, and that his sister had gone away, to Senegal, and she left him with the 3 children.
With the children, yes. 3 children.
And he had to make sure the children were at school, and deal with their uniform and their medical expenses, and he wanted her to support him and help him. So she felt really sad and sorry for him, so she started sending him money every month.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she said she asked him how much does he need, and he said £300
Per month. Per month.
So she started sending him £300 a month. Her kids have grown. She doesn't have any responsibilities as such. Her mortgage is paid off. So she started sending him £300 per month, and she thought this is great. And then she also sent the money to the estate for the house that they were renting.
Okay.
So altogether, she said she was sending £843. That's what she was spending
every month
in the Gambia.
Yes.
£843 she was spending. So she came back to the Gambia after 6 months, and she stayed in the home, and she said that the children were in the home, and she met the children and she stayed with them, and he continued to treat her well, but some of the times he was out. He was driving his taxi. She'd bought him a new taxi because he said his taxi had broken down. So he was driving the taxi, and she said to us that sometimes he didn't come home.
We stayed out.
Yeah. He's saying that he's had to work all night.
Yes, that's right. Working of a night time.
Yeah, work all night, and he didn't come back home. And she said that was a bit strange, and she was there looking after the children. But she said, she just thought it is what it is, and maybe I need to send him more money so that he doesn't have to work so hard. So yes, she's in this situation, and she spent 3 weeks in the Gambia with him, living in the home,
looking after the children, looking after the compound,
and being financially responsible
for everything. This woman goes back now to the UK, and she's still looking about the children and her husband.
So that's like 800 odd pounds
every month.
A month.
Yes.
To the Gambia.
To the Gambia, yes. It's a lot of money. But you know, when you're married and you're looking about your husband and his family, it will cost that sort of money. Anyhow, this woman now receives information from another woman telling her she's to try and get back to the Gambia because all is not as it seems.
And she said she got the message from Facebook.
That's right.
Because she was on a group where they were discussing their relationships, and she put a picture up there.
And somebody said,
of her and her husband.
Yes, they know him. So what happens? Right, so she gets a cab from the airport and goes to go in the home.
So she went to the Gambia.
Yes, she
without
went to
him knowing.
Without him knowing. And before she actually gets to the home, a neighbour pulls her to one side and says, your husband's in there with his wife and children.
It's very sad.
It is very sad. But what happens next?
Well, she said she didn't believe them.
She didn't
So
believe.
she just thought, oh, it's his sister and children. So then what happened? She goes in the house.
And when she goes in there,
he wasn't there.
No, but his wife was there.
And the children.
And the children. Now, what can you say? What can you do?
And it was obvious that they were all living there.
In the house.
And she'd gone in with the neighbour, and she'd asked the wife questions.
And the wife admitted.
And the children, the 3 children that she'd been caring for, are his children, not his sister's children. And
They
his
were
sister
his children.
was not in Senegal. She was it wasn't his sister, but she was in the Gambia.
It
and
was
it's
his wife.
So she was absolutely devastated. She said she's so angry, and she said that she was glad that she was supposed to get married in justice. Now, once you get married in justice, that means your marriage is legally binding, and you have to go through a process of divorce.
And that can
a
take
legal divorce
forever in Gambia.
Yeah. And also, when there's a legal divorce, there's issues of assets and things like that. So whether she dies in the UK or the Gambia or wherever she is, it's a legal divorce.
Yeah.
But she just got married in justice. She said the legal marriage was supposed to be in a few months' time, and when she came over, she was only justice, so she got a divorce. So she's saying that she's writing this email to us so that we can give her story
and let others know what happens under these circumstances, because at the end of the day, you don't know. They say love's blind.
And in this clip, this woman was sending £800 back to the man to fund his lifestyle, only to find out that that money was just getting him and his family by, because that money he was getting from her, he was giving to the wife, he was giving to the kids, and probably he tied, the mistress or whatnot. If you're watching this and you're a female or even a man, you just have to be very careful. I know some of you have this notion that Africans don't lie, but that's the biggest lie, because people are bad everywhere, people are good everywhere. So you have to be careful in whatever it is that you do. You have to be very vigilant. You have to do your due diligence and make sure you cover your tracks. Make sure you protect yourself, because the world out there is not easy. So you have to be careful. Stay safe out there, and let me know what you think in the comment section. I mean, do you have a story where someone has scammed you or finessed you in the name of love on the continent? Like, just let me know. I would love to hear your story, and I can't wait to interact with you in the comment section. Do follow me on all my social media pages at Juanita Maya. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.